Welcome to the second episode of Me-Arcone Queing, powered by the Institute of Alternate Dispute Resolution, a platform dedicated to exploring the transformative potential of ADR in resolving conflicts with fairness, empathy, and efficiency. Today, we are honored to be joined by Ms. Amita Sehgal Mathur, an accomplished legal professional whose career spans appearance before the Supreme Court of India and the High Court of India. With expertise across intellectual property rights, company law, family law, land acquisition, and arbitrations, she has carved a niche as both a formidable litigator and compassionate mediator. As a certified mediator for over 13 years, Ms. Mathur has successfully facilitated more than 100 settlements in diverse matters, ranging from commercial disputes to matrimonial issues, and has trained aspiring mediators across cities like Srinagar, Chandigarh, and Dehradun, as well as in numerous law universities. Her passion for mediation goes beyond courtroom. She has been instrumental in launching the first peer mediation program in Delhi schools in collaboration with the Peacemakers Singapore, empowering young minds in negotiation and conflict resolution skills. It's a privilege to have with us today a professional who blends with the legal profession with human understanding. Please join me in welcoming with Miss Amita Sehgal Mathur. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Thank you.
So, the theme of the today's conversation is bridging conflicts between the people because I believe, and every one of us believe, that because every conflict hides an opportunity for understanding. Ma'am, you being a certified mediator, what's the most challenging conflict that you have ever encountered?
Well, Vaishnavi, every dispute or every conflict that comes to me as a mediator is initially very, very challenging, whether it's a commercial dispute or a matrimonial or a family dispute. But yes, in certain matters, like recently there was a family dispute which came to me where family dispute is when there is a dispute regarding property, how to divide the property and assets amongst the family members. So here was a property which was purchased by the grandfather. The children start living there and their children start living there. So here was a lady whose husband had passed away, and the husband's sisters and the husband's mother filed a case against them saying that we want a share out of this property. Now, initially, what was the challenging part? We deal with these disputes every day in litigation. What was the challenging part when they came to mediation? It was difficult for me for at least 4 sessions to even make them sit in the same room. The wife, who was a widow, and the two children, they were they couldn't take the fact that their own family has filed a case against them, and then even further, for them it was not a property worth say crores or something. It was a property where they've been brought up. It was a property where their father lived. It was a property where they want to stay forever. So even to bring them on board to a fact that there is a legal issue, the property is of the grandfather, the mother, the grandfather's wife has a share in it. The two sisters have a share in it. So there are so many dynamics. Ultimately the grandchildren were called, made them speak to the grandmother. See, because they all have relations. That's what happens in a mediation. It starts with legal rights, but ultimately the parties start talking to each other. So there was a grandson asking the grandmother, that I have been the one, with whom you lived. I've been the one who's taken you to a temple every Thursday, and you have filed a case against me. You come and stay with me. I'll take care of you all my life. Right? So these were the dynamics. So at times, cases may not get settled. So this was a very challenging case for me to take care of each and every emotion. You may not be able to validate it, but you have to deal with emotion. And there was a sister. She says, I have not been given anything by my father. Why shouldn't I get a share from the property? I also need it. And there is another sister whose husband also passed away during the mediation. She says, why shouldn't I get a share? And there are these children who say that for a lifetime, even there is a order of the court, we will not get out of this property. Right. So these are the challenges. They were even told that, the property is, say, 10 crores. You buy something out of this property and take some money which will support you also, which will help the children also. But they are not able to see that. What they see is that this is our home. So these are the perceptions of parties that you have to deal with. It's not just the legal rights here. Everybody comes with perceptions of what they see, what is it they need, and what is their interest.
So, ma'am,
So this is how.
as I can completely sense that you are talking not only about the legal rights, even the emotions are involved. So, don't you think the mediator has to
Mhm.
be a little more empath?
The mediator has to be very empathetic. It's for a it's I think, as being a lawyer and a mediator, I would say it's more exhausting to be a mediator. You have to hear, you have to listen to the parties. We use the word here, listen. You have to listen to every party, and you cannot dismiss any emotion of theirs. Oh, how can you think that way? You empower them. That's the skill. That's what we learn in mediation. You empower them to go beyond their positions to their interest. That is what it is. But it is a very gradual process. And in some matters, like I just told you, this was a very, very challenging and a difficult process for them to come out of their positions to see what is their interest, right? So while you have to be empathetic, and while you cannot be, while as mediators, we cannot be counseling them, we cannot be advising them, right? We also have our boundaries. So we empower them to come out of their positions to their interest and see what they need and what is good for them. That's how it goes.
So, ma'am, what do you feel about the role of mediators? Do you really feel that in India it has been evolved during this last decade, over this last decade?
Well, yes, definitely. Role of mediator has evolved. See, earlier, if you say about 10 years back, when anybody would talk about mediation, the word mediation per se was also not there. It was like, let's see if we can do an out of court settlement, right? So one, it was like a tick on the box that, okay, we have tried it, but it's not happening, right? In fact, when the mediation was started in Delhi High Court, the lawyers were objecting to it. They objected. It's going to take away our matters. It'll take away our work, right? They initially resisted it. But then gradually, as they saw the success of mediation, not just the success rate, how it went up, but also how satisfied parties were going back. Like I said, at times, even if the matter is not settled, they go back satisfied that, okay, at least we have attempted, at least we have spoken to each other. There are deadlocks here. Parties don't speak to each other for years. So, this is how, coming back to the question, this is how mediation has evolved over the years. The courts have become more encouraging. Lawyers are more encouraging. We have pre litigation conciliation in Delhi High Court, where even before the litigation starts, you straight away go to the mediation center and make an application. And when both the parties consent, you sit together and you try and resolve the matter. And any settlement that is arrived at, it is a conciliation, which is a deemed award under the Arbitration and Conciliation Act. So it is binding on the parties. Nobody can resile from this, right? So this is how the stage. So the lawyers are getting the parties to the mediation. You see how it's evolved over the 10 years. And the public awareness, because
Hmm.
people want to now settle the matter and get out of it. The litigation here takes years. They all know it, right? So they want to take what they're getting today, not what they're getting after 25 years. So the public awareness has increased so much. And even for the lawyers, they feel, as lawyers, we have seen it. If I help a party, because see, as advocates, we also help the parties in settling the matter. So I see today, if I've helped the party in settling a matter, the party will come back to me tomorrow for another matter. They see that this lawyer has helped me to get a solution in hand today, right? And not, made me see something or give me a hope or something, what I'll get, say, after 20 years, right? So it's something that you're getting. So parties have realized that what you get in hand today is what you have. You may, I mean, for an example, you may feel, I may get, say, 20 lakhs, just an example. I may get 20 lakhs if I fight it out. I have a very good case. But say you're getting 10 in hand today, right? So what you get today, it's like, one in hand is better than two in a bush. It's like that. So this is how mediation has evolved since the past 10 years.
Uh, so, ma'am, every coin has two sides, right? We call this alternate
Hmm.
dispute resolution. We have so many flaws in litigation. So, what according to you are the common mistakes that people do while resolving the disputes?
See, if you talk about people resolving disputes inter se between themselves, now what happens in what why you'll have to go back to why the dispute started in the first go. It starts maybe with a disagreement or difference of interest or difference of opinion or difference of perceptions of what your rights are, right? Like this is the example that I just gave you. So there is a difference in perception of what my right is in a certain thing or a certain property. So what happens when you sit together, the parties are, they get into a battle mode. What happens? They keep asserting their rights, they keep asserting what they want, and they keep asserting what they should get. Do they listen to the other side? They hardly listen to the other side. There's a difference between hearing and listening, right? So they're just repeating. The parties are repeating what they want. The other side is also repeating what they want, right? So, in fact, what is happening? There is an escalation of the fight or the dispute. How will resolution happen? Resolution happens when you understand the dispute and when you listen to the other side. You listen to the needs of the other person. Okay, what is it that you need? What is it that you want? When the discussion is an aimed discussion leading towards or moving towards or navigating towards the difference, towards a resolution. But an endless discussion or reasserting what you need, that this is my right. My father left this for me. I have lived here all my life. I've lived here for 20 years. My father loved me the most. You didn't do anything for your parent. You didn't do anything for your father, right? So is this argument resolution, can this lead to resolution of any dispute? It will in fact, you know, clog the communication channel more. It is increasing these accusations and counter accusations. This will widen their gap, the differences even more. So these are the mistakes that people made, and that is where a trained mediator comes in, a skilled mediator comes in to help the parties in communication.
Ma'am, what if there's an inevitable deadlock between the parties and you are actually unable to sort things out between them and they'll go for litigation itself? Or you'll actually try to mend things up. Is there any kind of example or experience where you actually felt that this it is inevitable, this is something that is not going well, but still you yet find a way?
No, see, that's what I said in different, like the example that I just gave you. This turned out to be quite an inevitable, dispute where parties were not coming on the same page at all. Coming on the same page is not that you all agree to something, but you agree to come to a resolution,
Hmm.
right? That is when you come to the same page. But like I said, at times it may not lead to, it may not lead to a settlement right there and then. But like in this matter, at least the communication channels have opened. Now, the other side may go in for litigation because they know that, the rights of the parties are quite crystallized. As per law, if there is like, the grandfather has, three children, there is a son and two daughters, they will all get a right. So it depends, so here the lawyers will advise the parties, let's go in for litigation, which again is likely to get, go on for the next at least 10 to 15 years. Property matters don't, usually get decided before that. So there will come another stage, maybe after 5 years, when they will again come back to mediation, right? So, like you said, deadlocks come, but mediation is opening up that at least the communication started between the parties here in this matter, which was absolutely zero earlier. They came in, like I said, they couldn't sit in the same room for at least 4 sessions. They couldn't, I had to speak to them one by one. I would call one, then make the other one sit outside. That's how I had to talk to them. So, yes, there was a total deadlock,
I think
but that's how it is.
I got my answers pretty clear. So, ma'am, I got really intrigued by while seeing your profile regarding the peer program. Can you please tell us about the same?
Well, as you said, see, these skills that we have been trained with as, as mediators. So what we learn as mediators is communication, negotiation, and then mediation. Now, going back to what I said, why are we not able to resolve disputes? It's not just about the parties who come to us. Even personally, when we are discussing things with somebody and we enter into a disagreement, we take it as an attack on us. We are not able to deal with it. We don't, we have not been taught. I feel it's not something that we acquire. These are skills that we are taught, just as we are, we educate ourselves with science and English and maths. So communication and effective communication are also skills which need to be learned, and that is where the peer program came in. That, we started it from schools, from modern school, from Indian school. We went to class ninth and we went to the teachers, because differences start right from the beginning. Differences, difference of thinking, difference of opinion, it's something very inherent in human relationship. Even there will be differences between siblings, between, you know child and a parent, between a couple, right? So as we grow, everybody has their own thinking, their own opinion, their own perceptions of things, but how to deal with it is the skill. So that's how the peer program started. That wherever there are, fights or disputes, or, what we say is when fights escalate and they are not dealt with. Dispute is a very legal term, but yes, it hardens into a dispute, right? It hardens into it. Or relationship starts getting bitter, right? And to the extent that it becomes hostile. So if children learn it right from the beginning, that whenever it starts, deal with it. If there is something that the other person, another child has said to you, please say to him very politely that, look, I did not like this, and please don't do it to me. I do not appreciate it. Don't do it to me. Right? So these are the communication skills which children don't know. They don't know that if they are being bullied, or if some child is calling him names, he has to tell the other child. He'll just start crying, or he'll sulk, or he'll go back and tell his parent, or he'll go complain to his teacher, right? But he doesn't know, or she doesn't know, that he has to communicate to the person once that don't do it. I don't like it, right? They are not taught these things, but it's a very essential part of growing up, that they learn these things right from the beginning, right? So this is one. And then, like I said, fights happen in school, right? It could be over anything. He did this, he took this, he took this. Yes, they are very petty things. As they grow up, it could be on social media. This has been said about me. You know, there is an, I mean, there could be so many interstate things between, but these are the skills, the negotiation and communication skills, which they need to know to learn to resolve it mutually, respectfully between themselves. Because whenever these, fights happen, we all tend to, you know, we don't know the right way. So what we do, we'll raise our voice, we'll say mean things, we'll try and hit below the belt, we'll say things to put down the person. So, but do we usually discuss, the main issue? If a person has said something wrong, about me, say to a third person, I will not ask that person, did you say it? Or what made you say it? Right? What will I do? I will start accusing that person. You are like that. You have always done it for other people. I know. I've seen it, and then I can start going to the family also. I can, so what happens is the issue has been, the main issue is suppressed. It could be hurt, it could be, disrespect. Maybe the person, the child to whom it has been said, he has come from a family where he's not got that, respect anywhere. And so he's very, that child may be very touchy or very emotional and very prone to getting hurt very fast, right? So these are the things which, cannot be, these only escalate. So that is also, either we teach them how to resolve it between themselves, or get a third person as a mediator, who is a facilitator, who helps them and empowers them to understand what they need. And what they need could also, it's not something tangible all the time. What they need could also be respect. What they need could also be affection. What they need is also, say, a good friend. So these are things we see in the peer program. We've done it in schools, and we've also done it in colleges. We've also started it in colleges.
Ma'am, I believe this is one of the best initiative as of now that I've seen, because I feel that as a child, people go to school. Yeah, we go to school. We used to go to school to nurture ourselves, and there were like tons of people from belonging to different backgrounds, different culture. Some people might be facing a lot of things at their own houses, and they cannot communicate because they themselves are not aware about it. So I think this peer program not only promotes or aware people about mediation, negotiation, and communication, it also somewhat nourishes the child inside them, which they might not be able to feel after they become an adult. People switch off their emotions majorly. And if people get bullied, as you
Yeah,
said, that nowadays it's on Instagram or on social media that I was
yeah,
bullied once. So people
yeah,
actually make friends with them, they make a pact with them. I think in if I take few of my experiences, I was also quite bullied. I guess every one of us was somewhat the other way bullied, and that creates a lot
yes,
of rift between people, right? I guess this
yes.
program has is one of the best initiatives that can be taken in the school itself. So, are there any stories? I am hoping that there might be a lot of success stories out of it. So, I would love to hear it if there are any that you want to share.
Vaishnavi, see, for peer programs, there are no success stories. What would you mean by success stories? For us, when we go as trainers, the success is that, students come back and say that, ma'am, even if they take 5% from that training and they are able to use those skills in resolving, say in colleges, we see issues with their roommates. It's a very, common issue with their roommates. We are not able to, everything comes on me. Say on projects, they are doing group projects. So, if there are two, three people, one feels that I am doing all the work, the others are not doing anything. सारा काम मुझे करना पड़ रहा है, So, but, so these things they take back that everybody has their own strength. If there are five of you, maybe one is, even one is good at, say, collecting everybody. Everybody has their own, strengths and qualities. So maybe one is able to put everybody together. The other is very good at research. The other is very good at presentation. So what they get back is, let's not do it competitively. Everything is not about competition. It is also about collaboration. So when we hear these things from, say, college students, or, who have attended our trainings, that's where we feel very successful. Like I said, even 5%, even if they're able to take 5%, it's success for us. That's how it is.
So, peer program is all about learning and nurturing the students. And this was really an insightful session, ma'am. If there's anything else that you want to share with the audience, we are here to listen.
Vaishnavi, I would only say, like, I've said everything. I would only say that each one of us need to, know and learn these skills. I would say personally, as a mediator, trained in 2006. I feel I have learned so much personally, right? Like I said, every at every stage of life, we deal with differences and issues, but we learn how to communicate. We learn how not to attack the other person. We learn how to, you know, moderately speak to people, right? So I have learned so much. So yes, I feel that definitely this is something which should start. This training should start right from school, like you said, right from class 6. It should start, maybe even earlier, right? And every child, every school going child, every college child, everybody should know how to deal with differences, conflicts, how to handle them, how to not get perturbed with them. Like I said, some people might speak up, some child, like you said, may not speak up for years, and then it might get vented at a very wrong way. The child will work, as an adult, you will work, you will get married, and you feel suppressed. I've been suppressed all my life, I've not been able to speak up, right? And then, maybe, the marriage gets suffered, maybe the job gets suffered. So these are skills every person needs to learn, whether you become a mediator or not. But yes, as a mediator, when you are helping to resolve disputes, you need to have the knowledge of law. I would need to clarify that when I said that, when I'm helping parties in resolving their disputes, we get back the personal connection, but then everything has to happen within the realm of law, right? Whatever they settle, the settlement has to be in the realm of law. And only a lawyer, only a person who has the knowledge of law, only a lawyer can know this and understand this and guide the parties. A non lawyer can help or assist the lawyer, or assist the mediator in a certain domain. But then the mediator has to be a person who has thorough knowledge of law.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Does
And
that answer your question, or is there something more you want to ask?
no, no, definitely this answers all my question, and I think the perception about mediation will have a different turn, I guess, after this podcast will be seen by the audience. So
Okay. Okay.
through this, I think we come to the end of the program, although really don't want to end this because there are a lot of things that I would love to learn from you. So, as we wrap today's episode of Me-Arcone Queuing, powered by Institute of Alternative Dispute Resolution, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Miss Amita Sehgal Mathur for sharing her valuable insights, experience, and the passion for mediation. Definitely, we had learned about a lot of things about the peer program, about how family disputes leads to one thing to another, but still it has to be sorted via mediation. Your journey reminds us that dispute resolution is not about winning cases, it's actually about building understanding, fostering trust, and creating lasting solutions. From the courtroom to the classroom, your work continues to inspire both legal profession and the young minds to see dialogue as the most powerful tool for change. Thank you for the audience for joining us. Let's continue, explore, learn, and champion the cause of alternate dispute resolution. Until next time, this is Vaishnavi Upadhyay signing off. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep the conversation going.